What if I told you that France has just taken a step it avoided for decades, openly admitting its role in a brutal campaign that left tens of thousands dead in Cameroon? This is more than history. It's a reckoning with a colonial past that still shapes Africa's present. You're watching the African Reset, where we dig beyond the headlines. I'm Ama Asante, bringing you today's top political story. Before we dive in, please hit subscribe, tap the notification bell, like, and share this video so more people can join the conversation.
According to The Guardian, France has finally admitted its involvement in the violent suppression of Cameroon's independence movements from 1945 to 1971, a period marked by atrocities and mass killings. In a letter dated 30 July addressed to President Paul Biya, President Emmanuel Macron acknowledged France's role and responsibility in the repression, summarizing the findings of a joint Franco-Cameroonian commission. This probe covered violence under colonial rule and under the early post-independence era, when Amadou Ahidjo's government, backed by France, continued the crackdown. Macron stated that the commission's historians had clearly shown that a war took place in Cameroon, during which French colonial authorities and military forces carried out various forms of violent repression in several regions of the country, and that this conflict continued beyond independence in 1960, with France supporting actions taken by the Cameroonian authorities at the time. Yet, as reported by The Guardian, Macron stopped short of offering a formal apology or mention reparations, prompting criticism from civil society and historians alike.
To understand why this moment matters, we must revisit Cameroon's modern history. In 1884, the territory became the German colony of Cameroon. Following Germany's defeat in World War I, British and French forces seized control, and in 1919 the League of Nations divided the territory, with France receiving the larger portion. Post-World War II, independence movements such as the Union of the Peoples of Cameroon demanded self-rule, but instead of meaningful dialogue, authorities responded with a brutal military campaign, marked by mass killings, torture, and the destruction of villages. Referring to The Guardian, historians estimate that tens of thousands perished, including UPC leader Ruben Umnyobe, who was assassinated in 1958. The violence extended past independence in 1960, fueled by ongoing French influence and support for the ruling government.
The Joint Commission investigating these events was launched in 2022 during Macron's visit to Yaoundé. Earlier this year, it delivered its findings in a 1,035-page report documenting widespread human rights abuses, mass killings, and deep scars left on communities. Blake Bassi, a Cameroonian singer, writer, and co-chair of the commission, told The Guardian that the next steps include identifying victims in mass graves, resolving land disputes that stem from the conflict, and declaring national mourning. Before anything else, Bassi said, we must organize proper funerals for our compatriots who died for the nation. He also urged France to integrate this history into its school curriculum so that future generations fully understand what happened. France's confrontation with its colonial past has been slow and often incomplete. As noted by BBC News, President François Hollande visited Cameroon in 2015, acknowledging extremely troubled, even tragic episodes. Macron, however, has undertaken more visible but partial steps. In 2018, he repatriated 26 looted artifacts to Benin, based on research by Bénédicte Savoy and Felwine Sarr, and this year, Benin received the 27th artifact recovered from Finland. Referring to The Guardian, France has also signaled a willingness to discuss reparations with Niger for a brutal 1899 colonial campaign, one of the most violent in African history, yet again without issuing an apology.
I am Ama Asante, and what is unfolding in Cameroon and across Africa today is more than historical recognition. It is momentum toward redefining the post-colonial relationship between Africa and Europe. Across the continent, people are rejecting neo-colonial control, whether through cultural restoration, economic self-reliance, or demands for an honest retelling of history. France's acknowledgement of its role in Cameroon's wartime abuses without an apology or restitution mirrors a familiar pattern among former colonial powers. symbolic gestures that fall short of true reckoning. Meanwhile, leaders like Traoré and Touré are showing how sovereignty can be achieved, not through words, but through systemic changes in governance, economic independence, and resource control. Their efforts are more than political. They embody African self-assertion rooted in Nkrumah's Pan-African vision. The lesson is clear. For African nations, knowing our history is a source of strength. It allows us to claim dignity, defend sovereignty, and shape our own future. For former colonial powers, facing the past honestly is not a sign of weakness, but the first step toward building relationships based on mutual respect rather than control. As Blickbassi observed, Africa is confronting its history to face its future with clarity and confidence, and that is a journey worth supporting.
If this breakdown has given you fresh insight, help keep this conversation going. Like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another episode of the African Reset.
Do you think France should go beyond acknowledgement and offer formal apologies or even reparations for its colonial crimes in Africa? And which examples of sovereignty inspire you most today? Share your thoughts in the comments below.